Well, Brendan, a really special win. What was key to it?
Well, I think to beat Manchester City, you've got to run like hell. That's the first thing. So you've got to. I thought tactical discipline was very good. But we wanted to sort of condense the pitch in our half, and then in the right moments press the game. And then, of course, because of the counter press, you have to get your passes off quickly. And we know we've got speed if we can do that. So we fall behind and that was a brilliant finish.
Worried in the first 25 minutes?
No, I think because you always are going to come under that pressure. They start from the off, control the game, dominate the game. And of course, if you concede early like we did, then of course you maybe can worry a little, but I thought we showed good composure, stayed calm in the game, and then we showed enough in that opening period that if we can make our passes, we can cause them a problem. And actually, I thought we had the better chances in that sort of first half. So, but no, I thought that real good tactical discipline in the game, showed our quality, played the system very, very well, and it was absolutely brilliant result and performance for us.
You adapted your shape and your game plan from what we normally see. Just tell us very simply what the game plan was.
It was probably taken me, I've got to be honest, about 13 years to play that way as a manager. Since I first became a manager, I'm obviously very much about attacking and being aggressive and I think I will always, because of my life, I'm always positive and look to try and put that into the team. And I feel that I need to find another way myself to ensure that I can still be aggressive, I can still be attacking, but I need to think of other ways in order to get the results in some of these games. So I felt going into this game there was a plan of which was to, like I said, not chase the goalkeeper because he's as good as any centre half in the league, and then he takes people out of the game. Bring the game into our half of the field and just make sure we're tight, bring Jamie in and block up one of the mid players. And then, like I say, you've got to be very good then in that transition phase to make 2-3 passes to get out of pressure, and then I know we have the speed and quality to hurt them. So if you can get round that counter press. So that was our idea.
Well, Jamie, you've been part of a fair few famous Leicester wins. Is that right up there with the best of them?
No, do you know what it was? I think it was a good performance. We knew that we weren't going to have too much of the ball, so we've set up to infuriate them a bit, try and keep the likes of Vardy off the ball, and when we get it, make a few passes, try and break through their counter press and then be onto their defensive line. And today it's worked an absolute treat. 20-25 minutes in, were you worried? No, we weren't worried. They obviously got a great goal to start with, but we knew that if we stuck to his plan that we were always going to create chances ourselves. So obviously to get them like we have, and we've put them all away, so happy days.
You scored 2 penalties, won 2 penalties. It is a big part of your game. How do you do that? Is it just a case of getting your body in front of the defender and letting them make the mistake?
No, I think it's just one of them. If you both running at speed, I think it's whoever gets there first are always going to be fouled by the player behind, and I've managed to just get my body in front both times and been clipped, so definite penalties.
You're going to have to talk us through your second goal. I don't know how you got that elevation on it.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you myself. I was just sat on the bench. The lads were calling it a Johan Dink.
I think Gary Neville might have said that in commentary as well. They're nicking it off Gary Neville.
No, I think with the keeper, as soon as you open your legs as if you're going to let it go, I think they're obviously contemplating going straight through as a cross, so I've just managed to get something on, and it's just managed to go over him.
Gary was also saying in commentary that there's maybe a symbol of the class, the subtlety you've added to your game over the years. Is that fair?
No, I always want to improve. It don't matter how old I am. Obviously I'm one of the senior players now, but you want to keep improving each day, and I'm hoping that I'm doing that on the training field. So now it's have a rest tomorrow to recover and get back out there, try and improve even more, and look forward to next week.
I don't know what the final total was in terms of your touches, but you only had 8 in the first half. How are you?
No, it's one of them. Sometimes the gaffer asks me to stay away from the ball, try and create as much space as I can for other players to have enjoyment on the pitch. And today it was different. It was dropping and kind of do a man marking job on Rodri. I knew we weren't going to have too much of the ball, but it were all about making sure it was it was quality when we did have the ball, and like I said, to go through and get the goals to come out with the wins, really good for the lads.
How's the groin?
No, it's fine. I've just got a slight issue with my hip. I think it's a bit of growth in one of the bones. It just clicks every so often and just gives me a bit of pain, but it's no issues.
Okay for next game? Yeah,
I'll be absolutely fine.
Annoyed you couldn't take the third penalty?
No, like I say, it's good that the goals are getting shared around. Shows how much quality we've got and the attacking threat we've got.
Thank you, well done.
Cheers, thank you.
And while there'll be a big post-mortem, no doubt, over Manchester City's failings, it's only right, really, we give Leicester credit, and particularly that man, who at 33 seemingly is getting better with age, Andy.
He does. I think he's... the one thing I think that Jamie Vardy has always managed to maintain, he's always known what he's good at. And his best attributes are his willingness, his pace, sheer endeavour. On top of that now, he's added notable class and quality with his finishing. It's a lot more accomplished now. When he makes his runs, as you get a bit older, you start to less frequent with the runs, but there's more intensity and more intent in them. And if they keep providing him, he's gonna score plenty of goals for them again this season. I think he's an outstanding player.
We have to look at that second goal. I mean, that's as cheeky as they come, isn't it, Shay?
For Ederson, the goalkeeper hasn't done a lot wrong. You know, he spread himself, and it's just an unbelievable finish by Jamie Vardy. They flick it over the outcoming Ederson, but you know, we'll look again at the defender from Man City. Is all over the shop, to be honest. But the finish on the end, Manish, is just sublime. You know, I think he's a phenomenal finish.
What about Ederson? Is there anything from a goalkeeping perspective he could have done about it?
I think at this point, when he's that close, Manish, you're just trying to spread yourself, make yourself big. And he's done everything right. We work on that in training. You know, spread your legs, open your arms, try and make yourself as big as possible.
Yeah, this is interesting, Shay.
Yeah.
You mentioned a point here about whether or not Nathan Ake, just because he's a Bournemouth player, clears this up the line.
Yeah.
Man City, should he go back to the goalie?
For me, all day long. I mean, last year at Bournemouth, as you say, Eddie Howe might have told them, you know, clear your lines, will squeeze the pitch. But now you're playing for Man City, you're a £40 million defender. Yes, you're left-footed, and you want to clear your lines on your left strong foot. But for me, knock the ball back with your right foot back to Ederson.
Guardiola.
You know, that's the possession-based football that Man City play. Go back to Ederson, one of the best goalkeepers in the world with keeping the ball, and go out the other side on it.
Yeah, and that is a brilliant finish. Whichever way you want to dress that up, and you can look at goalkeepers there, but that is a brilliant run from Castagna, who has impressed again today. But that is a finish of genuine class. Aguero, Jesus, any of the guys up the other end, on a normal occasion for City would have all marvelled at that finish.
I think Brendan Rodgers has to take credit as well for Vardy, because before Brendan went to the football club, you know, Vardy was on the bench times. He was out of form. He was out of sorts. He was chasing out in the wings, trying to track stuff. I think Rodgers has got them and says, Jimmy, we want you in the middle of we want you where you're going to do damage. And I think obviously his goal record, 5 goals in 3 games at the start of the season?
It's 4 of them from the penalty spot.
Well, it doesn't matter where he'll take whatever, and that goal today is just phenomenal.
He won a couple of penalties. Let's have a look at the second one that made it 3-1. It was a foot race, really. Vardy against Eric Garcia. Any debate in the decision, Andy?
No, not at all. Garcia's just not aware of Vardy's run. And he's so quick, he's on the move a little bit. He gets his body, he deliberately puts his body between Garcia and the ball. And the City man's lost his awareness, not really sure of where he is, has a little nibble at it there. And it's a penalty. You know, it's a great run, it's a clever run. And it's another emphatic slot into the corner.
Yeah, he changed his side. It's a bit of a poker game then, because his first penalty went to the keeper's right, and now as a goalkeeper you're thinking, is he going to go the same again? And I thought he would, because it was so emphatic, his first penalty, but it's a great finish.
Andy, I know you want to say something, but let's just digest this graphic, because this is quite something. Only 3 times has a player scored a hat-trick against a Pep Guardiola side. Jamie Vardy has done it twice, and Lionel Messi is the other one, back in October 2016.
Yeah, no, but again, brilliant. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. The one thing I would say for Vardy, defenders, when you're playing against him, you know he doesn't stop running. You know he's always making darting 8-10 yard runs. You should, as defenders, you should communicate, I think, and be aware that this guy is always going to be, threatening the back of your shirt. He's always running in behind. You must know that you can't rest when Jamie Vardy's around. You can't rest, if you don't focus and concentrate, and every penalty City give away today was avoidable if they'd have had more focus. We mentioned about Kyle Walker being in the wrong position here. Then he's the wrong side. He tries to, again, pinch the ball, concedes the penalty. And every time, Shay, it was almost like same thing.
Yeah, I mean, the back four today for Man City is a real concern, a real worry. I was sort of saying off air, and Laporte's on the bench, and for me, if Laporte is fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to start the game. He's their best defender, and Garcia and Ake and even the two full-backs defensively today were found wanting so many times. I mean, that's just you've seen that in the schoolyard. You go, that's a pen. What are you doing? That's ridiculous defending.
Yeah.
Worst case, he's got the wrong side. Yeah, we spoke about it at half-time, but just chase him back in. He's still got to beat the keeper on a tight angle. It's poor
Do you know,
defending.
at the start of the show today, we spoke about when you see a back four like that with Ake and Eric Garcia, with respects, and over the company, and we've seen all these other amazing players playing at the back for City. When you see that, Vardy would have fancied today. He would have fancied it. He'd have said, "Get the ball into me as much as you can."
We saw some great goals today. I mean, we saw Mahrez, we saw Vardy's cheeky second. What about James Madison's?
Well, sometimes when one of these goes in, you think, could the goalie have done more? You can't do nothing about that, Shay, can
No, it's a phenomenal strike. The only thing I would say is again, I know I'm not in Garcia's case here, but you see he's cut inside. Garcia's got to get down the throat of the ball. He's got to get closer to him. He backs off and he backs off and he backs off. It gives him a free hit. Yeah, he gets close right at the end. When you see a player like Madison, you know his quality. He's a fantastic finisher. And he turns his back at the last second. And from a goalkeeping point, Andy, the Ederson has absolutely no chance. You've got to give Madison great credit. It's a fantastic finish.
He's got a load of time there, and to weigh that up. He's got too much time.
You can see Andy's going to strike as a defender.
Yeah.
You've got to get in his face and have a full slide up.
If that's De Bruyne, you're playing against Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah.
You know, if you give him that amount of time to pick his head up, have a look, he's going to do that. Maybe because it's just, I mean, James Madison's a very talented player, but get out to the ball. Get out to it a lot quicker.
James Madison had a say as far as Leicester's fifth was concerned. He won the penalty with this challenge by Benjamin Mendy. How did you read this then?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about Kyle Walker in the first half. He's more worried about the fullback pushing on again, Mendy, and he forgets about Madison. And it's really, you know, we say referees are going to give 3 penalties in one game, but he scores he has. If you make it so blatant, it's an easy decision for Michael Oliver. It's a penalty kick.
You can't touch anybody in the box now. You just cannot, from the wrong side, try and attempt to make a challenge, and that's a poor decision from Mendy. Brilliant finish from Tielemans. And do you know what? 5-2 did not flatter Leicester. It didn't flatter them because they played sensibly, they played devastatingly on the counter-attack. Yeah. Brilliant finishing, and they thoroughly deserved that. It's a brilliant performance.
I think Vardy mentioned in his post-match there about their setup, and you've got to give, again, Brendan Rodgers great credit, because they knew you had to give up possession. They sat deep. He got on Rodri to stop him sort of dictating the game from there, and they knew with the pace of Barnes and Vardy, they're going to cause them all sorts of problems, and they didn't get fazed by the early goal. It was a set play. We spoke about it at half-time. They didn't lose the game plan. They didn't lose the plot. He says, OK, we'll still sit in tight. We'll still let them come at us. But the counter-attack was on all day long.